Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. This is Fred Jones, host of Decision 300. I've got the old wise men, elderly wise brothers, flexibility, versatility coming to you already here with Decision 300. I just want to say this is a new brainchild of Ester Davis, the Ester Davis Show, our producer. What we're trying to do here with Decision 300 is we're trying to gather 300 strong men that are going to be able to help us self-produce our own television show, therefore allowing us to say what we want to say, discuss what we want to discuss, and bring home the points of interest that affect our community, truly and truthfully, without any holds barred, none whatsoever. And today, as we kick off the show, I got two very distinguished gentlemen with me, and then on my third segment, I'm going to bring up a sister, because you can't have men running everything. You got to have a woman, and Dr. Gibson is going to help us out with this healthcare issue, which is really taking the country by storm. But meanwhile, let me get right to my guest. On my left is Gordon Jackson. On my right is Monroe Mays. I'm going to let the brothers introduce themselves, because they can do it better than I can. Go ahead, Gordon.
Okay. Hello everybody, my name is Gordon Jackson. I'm managing editor of the Dallas Weekly and the DallasWeekly.com. We are a publication of communications outlet, a multimedia communications outlet that directs toward primarily toward the African American community. And we're going region-wide and getting ready to go nationwide.
Brother Monroe.
I'm Monroe Mays, and I'm presently serving as a adjunct professor at Cedar Valley College. However, I'm here today as a representative of my church, New Mount Gilead Baptist Church, pastored by Reverend Roy W. Locke, and the Dallas Citywide Brotherhood, the Dallas Citywide Baptist Brotherhood, President Brother Lester Price, where I serve as first vice president.
Well, let's get into that real quick, because we're talking about brotherhood and Christian brotherhood. So Monroe, tell us a little bit what your organization is getting ready to, has been about, and how is it going to be more instrumental into helping make sure our community stays on top of what it needs to do?
Well, one of the things that we're doing now, and our big push from our Citywide Brotherhood president, is that we need to involve young men and start training them now to be Christian men. We're doing that both in the Brotherhood as well as in my church. We have a organization in my church called Boys to Men, where we start involving young boys at an early age, 8 years old, and bring them up through the Brotherhood to make them the kind of men that many of you sisters would love to marry.
That's what I'm talking about. So where are you located at so far?
My church is located at 1804 North Beckley, right down the street from Methodist Hospital, and if you're not familiar with that, we're right across the street from Lone Star Donuts.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody, y'all know about the donut place. So we all know about Lone Star. Gordon, tell us. We were just talking briefly about the Weekly, the transformation that the Dallas Weekly is going through. So why don't you explain to us what the Weekly is all about, the changes that they're getting ready to make, and how this is going to help the community get the word out?
Well, as everybody knows, the media industry has been turned literally upside down with two things: the access of the internet, and then this last economic downturn. And you hear in the news about newspapers closing all over the place and things like that. And the Dallas Weekly was not immune to that. Dallas Weekly was hurting and struggling, and the decision was made for the Dallas Weekly to go multimedia. Okay. So we have reestablished our website. It is up now, DallasWeekly.com. And with that, we're one of our statements, one of our models is going to be more than just newspaper, because we're expanding out. And so we're going to have a website. We now have our breaking news email e-blast, to where if a news comes out before we put out the next issue of the paper, we can get it out to our email e-blast. And then we've got our e-edition, where we actually have the paper on the internet. And then that spawns other products like video streaming and audio streaming programs and things of this nature. So we're going full multimedia. Now we're working at a way to make sure that all of those items are monetized, so that we bring in the revenue that we need to stay in business.
And let me just say this, I would be remiss, gentlemen, if we didn't say where we are at. We are at Lincoln High School in the heart of sunny South Dallas. And for those of you that are across the country or across the globe, sunny South Dallas is where things happen, because the sun never goes down here. But that's where we are. We are in the middle of here. And part of our responsibility responsibility and obligation, as Brother Monroe was talking about with Decision 300, is to start putting our feet where our mouth is. So if we're going to talk about saving the hood, then we got to be a part of the neighborhood, and that's what we're going to try to get going on today. So that we got a few minutes, so let's lead up into our segment here. You were talking about boys to men, and one of the things that we're finding is that before we can get to a man, we have to start at the essence of the very beginning of a young man's life in his beginning. So in your role and your position, what are some of the issues that you are seeing that is creating some of our downfalls as far as that developmental stage from boy to teenage to man?
I think we don't start with our young boys at an early age. We want to wait until they become teenagers and then start trying to mold them. I don't know if you've ever had an experience with a piece of clay, but if you let it get hard or firm, it's very hard to remold it. So what we need to do is start with boys now. And I don't know whether or not you know it, but we have a 65% dropout rate of young African American boys. And in my opinion, that's too much.
Oh, definitely.
That is definitely too much. And if we don't do something now from our hood, and I say here in the hood because I am a product of South Dallas. I grew up right down the street on Metropolitan.
There we go. There we go.
Good things do come from the hood. But we need to start doing something now to mold our boys, and they need a Christian background as well as a well-rounded vocational background.
Gordon, from your perspective, from a media point, how is that going to bring about a better change from your perspective?
Well, media impacts image, and possibly one of the issues that is going on is that the young black men might behave in a negative manner is because maybe of the images that they do see on TV and in the movie screens. And make no bones about it, that it does affect people. It does, the images in TV and the movies does affect how particularly an impressionable young person will act. And so at the Dallas Weekly, we try to project all different types of images of the black community, of the black man, and we make sure that we profile the successful black man who works hard, made his way, and has high work ethics, has high integrity and things, but we also have to discuss the issues as to why, what is going on in the black community, what is going on with the black male structure and things.
What we're going to do, we're going to get ready to kind of segment out of this. We have the old thing, we got to pay some bills, as they say, and that's what we're going to start working on. But when we get back with Decision 300, I like that. Let's say the Decision 300. Let's say Decision 300.
Decision 300.
Decision 300. I like the way that sounds. Watch out, Meet the Press, because here we come. And then that's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to segment in, we'll complete that a little bit. But I also think we need to get into a little bit of global issues. So we'll be right back here in a second.